G'day you cheeky dogs, today we're going to break down the Bluey Season 1 episode Wagon Ride.
This episode of Bluey is called Wagon Ride.
We're going to go through all the Australian details, the location, the hidden dog details, the possible Joe Brumm cameo in it, and also just the general reception to this episode and the idea that this episode was made specifically for adults or parents and not so much for kids.
I know. How about this plan? I'll do what I want and you don't tell me what to do.
But there are a lot of really Australian references and Aussiness in this episode, so I want to go through all of those little details with you first. G'day cheeky dogs, my name's Margie and I'm an Australian currently living in America. My favourite one of course is on the fridge, and that is that you can see the magnet spelling out True Blue. Now some of you who are not from Australia, you probably think True Blue as in the song that Lucky's dad Pat was singing.
Hey True Blue, is it me and you?
Yes.
Is it mom and dad? Is it
Lucky's dad?
But True Blue is actually a really iconic Australian word, which basically just means yes, that's something 100%, you're True Blue, you're amazing, you're loyal. I also love that on the fridge, this is the only time we see the tennis ball Easter egg as well. We see 2 tennis ball magnets on the fridge here too. The other really epic Australian reference is the Southern Cross. So in the very first opening scene of the house, and it's still twilight, so we can still see the stars in the sky, very obviously on the right hand side is the Southern Cross. The Southern Cross is of course on the Australian flag, and it is also a very popular Australian tattoo to get, especially when you're younger. Almost every Australian knows exactly what the Southern Cross looks like because it's such an integral part of our lives.
Oh my, this bus certainly is late. Oh yes.
The other one you probably wouldn't have noticed, but it's the school hat. So at the very end at the bus stop, we see some extra dogs at the bus stop, and one of them is a school-aged child. And the school hat was the thing that got me straight away because I was like, oh wow, they're private schools obviously in the Blueyverse. So the school hat that they're wearing is white and green, which could be close to Brisbane Boys College, which of course is nearby. However, the style of hat that they're wearing is actually a girl's hat. So based on that, we know that this is a girl dog. And the colors I think are just something the Bluey team made up because the closest green colors is maybe Brigidine, but I think it's maybe they just wanted to show a very stereotypical private school girl hat. So I thought that was a cool little nod to Brisbane private schools.
Bus is stopping. This stop is the art gallery.
Of course, the bus stop as well looks identical to the bus stops that you find all throughout Brisbane, specifically in that Red Hill area. Everything from the shape of it to also the bus stop sign, and of course the bus itself, which we now have a toy of in Bluey, yay! But the bus of course looks exactly like the buses in Brisbane, but instead of a kite, it has a dog leash on it. There's just that extra level of Brisbane-ness with the flora and the fauna, with the little willy wagtail and all the flowers around there, which are ones that you would find around Brisbane too.
Off we go!
Yeah.
Now, speaking of locations, there are quite a few shown in this episode, obviously, as Bandit and the girls are walking through Red Hill, which is really hilly, which is why we get some of those really beautiful, cool shots. But there was a bit of debate about the football field that we see them walking through. But it was confirmed by Costa Kassab, who is one of the lead art directors on Bluey, that it was Hawthorn Parks and Field where they got the inspiration from. And again, if you get the chance, please go and check out Bluey locations over on Instagram. They always do these fantastic side-by-side shots, and they usually get tip-offs from people who work at Ludo Studios about where each of these locations are. The other really cool location we see is the Woolcock Park Creek Bridge, which you would see on a walk from Red Hill over to Newmarket. And we do also again get to see the Mount Cootha Tower in the background of a different shot, other than when we usually see it when it's looking directly at Bluey's house. There's also the debate about the street signs. So we have Bean Street and Glow Lane, and someone on Reddit was quite smart. They looked all the way up into Fortitude Valley, which is where Ludo Studios is, and they found an intersection that is Hines Street and Light Street. So Hines, beans, baked beans, light, glow. So maybe that could be a possible nod to it. I, however, think it's more of a nod again to the animators. So as I mentioned before, Costa Kassab, he is one of the lead art directors at Bluey, and his Instagram handle is Cosmic Glow. So I think that Glow Lane is named after him, and that Bean Street could be named after one of the other art directors possibly, or of course it could be a reference to just slipped on my beans. There are also so many little dog details in this episode as well. Everything from the language that they use, Bandit saying good boy to Chloe's little brother.
It's good. He's just learning to roll over.
Oh wow, good boy.
To Bingo's woof of excitement. And also Mackenzie's dad talking about sheep. Now, this is kind of an ongoing joke with Mackenzie's family and them talking about sheep and jumping on them and things like that.
Come on, Bluey. It's just like jumping from one sheep to another. We don't jump on sheep, Mackenzie. Really?
And there's no subtitles for it, but if you listen really carefully, you can hear him say the word sheep and that he's talking about like sheep herding. We also see dog bone shapes on their houses, as well as the dog print on the phone. And something really cute is Bingo just playing with her dad's tail in the beginning. We also have some little like music Easter eggs as well. So when Rocco's coming past, we can see on his iPhone that he has the exact same picture that Chili had on her phone for the weekend. And that is for the Dark Side of the Moon. So I guess both of them are Pink Floyd fans. We also have like 2 callbacks to the episode Fruit Bat. So of course the first is the football field that we see. It looks very similar to the football field that they did for Fruit Bat for where Bandit was playing. But also, Bluey also talks about wanting to hang from the monkey bars like a fruit bat.
After I do skip bar, I'm going to go upside down and be a fruit bat.
As for the voice actors, we of course have Bandit credited as Dave McCormack and the 3 others being Rocco, Chloe's mum, and Mackenzie's dad. But there is still one other speaking role in this, and that's that dog at the bus stop at the very end.
Anyone else?
Nah, I'll get the next one, mate.
And I have listened to enough interviews with all my research with Bluey of Joe Brum to know when I hear his voice. So that dog I definitely think was Joe Brum, just adding in a little extra at the end there. Of course, we did get the iconic line of "gotta be done,"
Gotta be done.
which was used throughout the episode, mostly by Bandit, but again at the end by Bluey, which was really cool.
Gotta be done.
Oh yes, it's got to be done.
And this, of course, spawned the whole name for the very famous Gotta Be Done podcast by Mary and Kate. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go and do it. There are 2 amazing mums in Australia who also love talking about Bluey.
Gotta be done.
Overall, again, this episode, I think, was very much focused on adults and parents more so than kids.
Dad, come on.
Bluey, I'm talking.
And for me, it's that first episode that I remember watching Bluey and being like, I can learn how to be a parent from this show.
Okay, how about this? If I'm talking to a grown-up and you want me, you just come up and put your hand on my arm. So now I know that you want to talk to me.
Like, there were other episodes that like really got me realizing that this was something special, especially like the episode Bike. But this was really one of those ones where I'm like, oh, this is actually giving me like skills and like an actual thing I can apply straight away with my son on like how to be patient.
Then I'll do this to show you that I know you're there and that you want to talk to me. What do you think?
Yeah.
And that's obviously the main point of this episode. It was about teaching Bluey patience.
Now that was much better, Bluey. You didn't interrupt. You let me know you wanted to talk and you waited till I was ready. Well done.
Thanks.
But at the same time, it was teaching parents how to also be patient and teach patience as well.
I still just need you to be more patient though, okay?
Okay. I just find it hard to be patient.
And it really just felt like very much like a step-by-step guide on like how to do that, how to teach the child, and then how to practice it, and then how to still like make them adapt and like wait a bit longer and everything like that. Like it really felt like a whole like PSA thing on like how to be a parent in this situation, which I of course appreciated.
Bluey, if I'm talking to another grown-up, you don't interrupt like that, okay?
I think it was also really good showing that like whilst Bandit of course can be really fun and silly, it's not always all fun and games for him. Like he set very firm boundaries with Bluey in this episode, saying that he was going to turn around if she could not be patient.
Wait, no! Yay! We're going home again. Okay, your plan.
Good decision.
And he had no issues with saying no and everything like that. So I think, again, it was a really good way of showing that, yeah, Bandit can have that side to him as well. And also, that game that he played at the end with the girls at bus, he wasn't, like, overly enthusiastic about it. He was just playing it. So again, I think it shows that, like, you don't have to all be, like, this amazing, overly energetic dog like Bandit as a dad or a parent figure. But, like, yeah, you can set boundaries. You can teach skills. You can also play games without being incredibly enthusiastic about them as well.
Let's go in the wagon. Yeah!
Oh, not the wagon.
And of course, I loved all of his, like, very much, like, dad high-five jokes and always, like, oh, pulling away last minute.
High five! Ah, got something in my eye. High five. Ooh, itchy neck.
Overall, though, for me, this episode, especially just, like, how much it made me feel like I was back home in Brisbane, because I used to live around this area, I would give it a 5 out of 5 for that reason alone. Like, it just... Like, this is what it looks like in that area so much. All the sounds, the music, it was beautiful, and, like, the sounds of the birds in the background was just, like, spot on.
You really must get going.
And even though there was no long dog, and I looked for so long, as is apparently everyone else on the internet, but if you ever find it, let me know down below. So even without that long dog Easter egg, I do still think that this episode deserves 5 out of 5 because it's one of those ones where you would show it to a parent to get them hooked on Bluey. It's like the gateway Bluey episode for parents, I think anyway.
You won't get us today, Bridge Troll.
Yeah, Bridge Troll, eat some other kids.
But cheeky dogs, let me know in that comment section down below, how many long dogs would you give this episode out of 5? And what was your favorite part out of it as well? While you're down there as well, don't forget to hit that like button if you love Bluey as much as I do, as well as that subscribe button and that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other new videos. But until then, I have picked you cheeky dogs out a few other videos that maybe you would like to watch, and I will see you all in another video. Mwah! Bye!